Today's Recliner Reviews is on a 2004, I think, movie about a sport we all played in gym called
Dodgeball, a true underdog story. 20th Century Fox invites you
Welcome to this year's Las Vegas Dodgeball Open
to experience the world of dodgeball
There's a souvenir for a lucky fan.
with the ultimate underdogs.
And I say that because I'm assuming dodgeball was huge when you were in high school, grade school, whatever.
100%, yes.
Yeah, and I think it was huge a generation before you. I don't know when dodgeball was invented.
I mean,
This movie has a lore about dodgeball.
Yeah,
but,
definitely a generation before me. Like I know my older siblings played dodgeball too.
And I played dodgeball from first grade with like softballs, like not soft, not like 16.
No, I know
softballs.
exactly what you're talking
The
about.
squishy ones, yeah. It would be kind of
Foam, foam
Yes.
that are, yeah.
And it was the best time in gym class. Everyone loved playing dodgeball. It didn't matter if you were athletic, unathletic, boy, girl. You loved playing dodgeball. I don't know what it is about dodgeball, but everyone loved dodgeball.
You didn't play with the Voight rubber balls?
No, never. That's a
generation
90s thing.
difference,
Because like
yeah.
Billy Madison, when Adam Sandler's like plunking those kids, that's what that thing.
Yeah.
We didn't do that. We played with the squishy ones when we were young. And then in high school, I want to ask you if you did this, because I think not. And in hindsight, we shouldn't have done it either. In high school, so you got to pick your gym class. Freshman year, you took like basic gym, and then after that, you had to pick what gym course you did. And I did a strength and conditioning course where you lift weights Monday through Thursday, and then Fridays cardio. And for most of the Fridays, we did like a fun thing for cardio. Sometimes we'd run like 3 miles, and it was terrible. But there was this game that got popular in strength and conditioning gym, and like then it turned into every gym class did it, called Ultimate Dodgeball.
Ultimate Dodgeball!
Does this ring a bell at all, or is this just a friend high school
No,
Palatine,
well,
Illinois thing?
tell me because there are other things from high school that I'll discuss. But
Yeah. So, and again, in hindsight, we should never have played this game. And from my understanding is at Fremd High School, Palatine, Illinois, they no longer play this because a kid got seriously injured. But it was dodgeball. Sorry, I should back up. Ultimate Handball was the one we played most of the time,
Ultimate Handball!
where it was a handball, but you got to tackle each other. And we're not wearing pads or anything, whatever.
Yeah.
We played that a lot. And then Ultimate Dodgeball was also dodgeball with volleyballs, and you could make physical contact with each other, like slam people into the wall, tackle each other. Just about every Ultimate Handball or Ultimate Dodgeball, people would leave with blood on their shirts. 15, 16, 17-year-olds, we'd have blood on our gym uniforms after, and we would think it's the coolest game ever. And I got a concussion once in gym, not from that, from a softball game. I was playing catcher, throwing something from the outfield, and this big fat guy was charging toward the plate, put his elbows out, slammed in my head. I got a concussion, went to the emergency room the next day.
jeez.
But that was gym class for us. It was violent. You got bloody. You got cuts all over you from dodgeball. I had blood all over my face one time. Ultimate
Okay.
Dodgeball.
I mean, like, we did dodgeball. We played dodgeball in high school. The difference was that, and it was organized, and it was with the Voight balls, the, like, rubber Voight balls, right? There was also another game. This was, like, the end of high school. This was, like, my senior year. That, like, we went on a retreat at one point. There's a difference between going to a Catholic school and not a Catholic school. So, like, we had a retreat, like a week retreat, and we were gone. And the guys were all playing this version of dodgeball that was not dodgeball. I mean, it was dodgeball, but it was also not dodgeball. There was an element of it where there was like a penalty where if you were the one that was penalized, you had to put your hands up against the wall, like back facing like the guys that were throwing. And you'd put your hands up against the wall, and you had to stay there and not move. And the guys who had the ball, like there was only one at a time, like only one guy could go, would just whip the ball straight at your back.
Like butts up. Did you ever play butts up?
I mean, that might be what it's called. I forget what we called it, but whatever. Like, and they would just whip it, and so like the welts that everybody would get because you're high school kids, right? Like it's just guys on this retreat, and so like you're taking off your shirt, and like so you don't have a shirt to protect you from this Voight rubber ball flying at your body.
Those can't feel
like,
good.
I'm telling you, people were welted up and down their backs. And, like, there's no, I don't know if it was different for you, but there was no, like, head safety.
No, not in the game I was describing, there was no safety.
Yeah, so, like, because that was a thing, too. So, like, I remember in high school, I was a camp counselor. And we would play dodgeball. Like, it was outside as summer camp, and the kids would play dodgeball. But, like, there was head safety. So, like, you didn't, you know, like, the camp counselors got involved and were pegging the kids a la Billy Madison, but the kids loved it. Like, it was dodgeball. Like, we played dodgeball. It was still with the rubber void balls. So I don't know when that changed over.
But it had to be retired because of that reason, though.
I mean, it had to be. But, like, dodgeball was a thing. Like, and it was a big thing. We loved playing dodgeball.
I don't know what it is. It transcends every decade. It's that people love playing dodgeball. I would play right now. If we got a crew together, I would play dodgeball.
Yeah, well, I think they still have adult leagues that came about because of this.
Getting into a league would be a bridge too far for me, I think.
Like a softball league, like a dodgeball league?
Yeah, I think that'd be that'd be a little bit too much. But it's the best sport for some reason. Butts up, by the way. Not the same. I don't remember the rules to butts up. It was a tennis ball, and you would throw it against like a wall. I don't remember what the objective was, but if you lost, the only thing I remember when we played this game a lot was you had to put your hands up against the wall, and then people could whip the tennis ball at your ass.
I mean,
I don't know if kids still do this kind of stuff.
I mean, they might, but Dodgeball, the movie.
So, well, I just bring all that up to say is, like, I think part of the reason this movie was so well liked at the time, I don't know if it's still, I haven't really thought about this movie much until we were talking about what movies we want to talk about today. I'm sure it's available on streaming somewhere and people still watch, especially if you grew up with it or if you were like a teenager when it came out. You probably have fond memories of it, because I remember liking it at the time, and I've seen it a few times since, and I liked it. It's funny, it's easy to watch. Like, there's not much going on there. But I think part of the reason it resonates so well is because of the sport that they picked.
Yeah.
It's dumb enough that it's like, doesn't require a lot of athleticism, so it's like kind of a stupid sport to be popularized on ESPN 8, the Ocho, and all this stuff.
The Ocho.
But people love dodgeball enough that it's like, we love this movie because we love dodgeball.
Yeah, and I think that, so this movie gave a rebirth to Chuck Norris.
Did it?
It did.
Because
It did.
Maybe
there was a whole thing with Chuck Norris where it was like,
And it was
Chuck
from
Norris
this?
is back. Like, yeah.
Because we told Chuck Norris jokes all throughout junior high.
I feel like it was around the same time.
It was, because I was in junior high when this came out. I think I never put two and two together.
I don't know which came first, if it was the jokes or Chuck Norris in this movie. But, like, because when I grew up, I remember Chuck Norris with his karate movies.
Oh, not even
like
the TV show?
Like, I remember Chuck Norris. Like, that Walker, Texas Ranger was after all of that.
Oh, wow.
Like, I remember Chuck Norris, the, like, 90s Chuck Norris. Or, excuse me, 80s Chuck Norris. Not into the 90s with Walker, Texas Ranger and all of that. So that's why, like, for people my age, seeing Chuck Norris in this movie and the fuck you, Chuck Norris, and all of that, like, it was funny. Like, it's hilarious, and it was kind of like a little bit of a rebirth. I don't remember if the Chuck Norris jokes, like, Chuck Norris doesn't sleep, he waits.
Yeah.
You know, those, I don't know if they came first or they came second.
Chuck Norris doesn't get wet. Water gets Chuck Norrisy.
Yes. We're gonna keep doing Chuck Norris. I don't think that's what they're here for. They're not here for Chuck Norris jokes.
I don't know why I thought those jokes were so funny at the time.
I don't know, because it was kind of out there.
I guess.
Maybe.
But his cameo is
but like,
great in the movie.
That's like all of these like little elements of the movie, the sport of dodgeball, Chuck Norris, making fun of ESPN.
The Ocho.
Like, all of those little things is what made it at the time a very watchable, very enjoyable movie. They still kind of hold up, but like, dodgeball is not really as big of a thing.
Is it not?
I mean, it is for like adults, because they have the leagues or whatever, right? They have the like dodgeball leagues, but not like, I don't think they play dodgeball. I think dodgeball is banned in schools.
I mean, your kids are too young that they wouldn't be playing anyway, right?
Like, and I don't think that, I just don't think that they play dodgeball anymore. I honestly, like, even in high school,
damn shame.
I don't think that they do, because I think that somebody got hurt, right?
But
and
ours
then the parents complained, and the school said, well, we don't want to get sued, so we're going to stop playing dodgeball.
Ours was ridiculous, though, and to think that I was in high school, 13 years ago? Like, that kids were allowed to tackle each other and cut each other up and bleed in gym, and now we can't even play the regular dodgeball with squishy balls.
I mean, I think that's the case. Somebody complained and they said, nope, no dodgeball.
I was under the impression that dodgeball is the gym sport that would live on forever, because I don't know what other sports we played in like grade school gym. We played flag football, which I don't know if they're still doing that. We played.
They definitely are. Like, it's moving more towards flag football.
Well, yeah,
than
the
anything
NFL's
else.
moving more towards flag football.
Yeah, but I'm bummed.
Field hockey, like we just played hockey in the gym.
Yeah.
I feel like that might not happen because they were like at the time really strict about high sticking and how you used your stick. I don't know. I just felt like dodgeball would be the one that would transcend everything. And kids would play in dodgeball, and our grandkids' grandkids.
Well, Generation Z.
Z.
Generation Z, can you comment? Is dodgeball a thing? I don't think it is.
Yeah,
I think
call
it's
in
gone.
if you're under 18.
Yeah. Don't call in if you're under 18. But anyways, I feel like, again, like it's not as big of a thing. It's for a certain generation and up. And that's why, like, a lot
That's
of
a
folks
shame.
might like, especially like Generation Z, like 18 and younger, like if they watch this movie for the first time, they might be like, oh, that's cool, like that's fun, and they may want to bring it back and play the game. I don't think it happens in school. I think it has to be like, you have to go join a league in order to go do it.
That's weird. I'm curious what they do in gym class then, if they're not doing dodgeball. But yeah,
Badminton.
we never did that. And if we did, we'd be tackling each other as part of the variation. But yeah, this did spawn leagues and I think renewed interest right after the movie came out.
Yeah.
Like Average Joe's was a brand that everyone knew.
Yep.
Which, by the way, the plot of the movie, we haven't really gotten into like the specific details of it yet. Again, really easy plot to set up. It's we need to save our gym. We need money. This is like the easiest comedy setup for a film imaginable.
Yeah.
There's a movie every couple of years that has the same plot of like we need to get $50,000. We don't have that. How do we like?
Wouldn't they just start a GoFundMe now?
Yeah, you'd start a Kickstarter. The movie would suck if you had that now. They'd start a Kickstarter saying "Save Average Joe's Gym," and they'd ask a bunch of their friends, and they would make the Kickstarter be done.
I do think so. This was at the end of college for me when this movie came out, and so dodgeball became a thing, and there was actually intramural dodgeball at Loyola, and so when I was a senior, we played intramural dodgeball, and we were the dodgeball champs. We actually won. But talking about
Not bragging.
Not bragging. Talk about non-athletic people. Like,
Yeah, it's just you'd stand there.
so not athletic. But we still won, and
That's
whatever.
why dodgeball was always popular. It didn't matter your athleticism or height, anything. It's just you throw a ball, you catch a ball.
Yep.
When I visited Loyola, so this is I don't know if you knew about this, because this came to the college campuses probably like 2011 maybe 2010. Quidditch from Harry Potter.
Oh, I've heard all about it because it started at Northwestern.
Yeah, it became like every college I think has a Quidditch team now, which is stupid, and it's like on TV. People like running around with freaking brooms between their legs.
Can we talk about TV stuff for a second here? Like,
Well, I was gonna say when I visited Loyola when I was in high school, because I considered going there, there was a Quidditch match going on. They're like, "This is our Quidditch team," and I'm like, "That's ridiculous."
Yeah, I mean, it is ridiculous. When I heard about it from Northwestern, I was like, that's ridiculous. I didn't know it was on TV, that they showed Quidditch on TV.
I'm pretty sure I saw maybe it was Big Ten Network or somewhere. I'm positive I've seen Quidditch on TV.
But I do want to say, like, we joke about the Ocho, right?
Yeah,
The Ocho.
And like outrageous sports.
that joke has lived on forever.
And it will continue to live on because this past weekend, let me tell you what I saw on ESPN this past weekend. Extreme Tag.
Looking to chase down Orlando DeVoe, and here we get to see the skills this young man has. He's already sent his chaser one way, and look how he does.
I wish I could say I'm kidding about what is Extreme Tag. It's literally like a playground with like bars and jungle gyms or like whatever, like the monkey bars or whatever, like all over the place. And there's teams, but it's one-on-one in the arena. And so they start the bell and the timer goes and you get points for lasting till the end or whatever, or however long you last. And one person starts over here and one person starts over here, and this guy has to come and get you. And so like these guys are like riding on the monkey bars and like sliding and diving and like going around. Like It's pretty intense, but it's tag on TV. Like, who's watching tag on TV?
I love tag, especially freeze tag was probably my favorite.
Well, there's no freeze tag on the Ocho, but
There will be.
there is
There will be.
extreme tag. There's extreme tag. They have bags
I've
or
seen- I watch
bags
bags.
or
I don't know how
cornhole
people-
or whatever you want to call them.
Cornhole has an audience there too,
Yeah.
like a live audience.
Yeah.
I don't know who the hell besides family is going to see that.
It is standing room only everywhere.
Well, first off, why are you watching that? Like, what's
I don't know.
interesting about that? Like, the only reason you watch that if somebody's playing bags is like you're sitting there and you're drinking and you're waiting your turn to go
Yeah,
play.
yeah.
Like, that's the only reason you're watching it. You're not like watching.
I don't know how people even watch bowling sometimes unless like you're gambling on it. I don't know.
I don't get that either. But I remember growing up and having bowling on the ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Yeah,
That was the Ocho before the Ocho.
it's on ESPN. They always air it like side by side with the Super Bowl or something because no one's gonna be watching at
Yeah.
that time. Also, underrated movie Tag. Have you seen Tag?
I've heard about it. I have not seen
You
it.
should watch that. That's a. I don't think it's well reviewed, but it's a fun movie. Dodgeball, though, we got far away.
Way
from,
off base.
Far away from the movie. It's weird how this movie had like a little phenomenon in
Yeah.
2004.
Yeah.
And I haven't given it much thought in the last decade, but it had like a moment where it was huge.
Yeah.
It kind of blends in with a lot of comedies for me for that era. We've talked about this before, of that particular era. Like Blades of Glory, I don't know if you saw that,
Yeah, I did.
2007
I've seen that,
figure
yeah.
skating movie. Way worse. It kind of sucked. I didn't really like it that much. But it had a similar kind of tone to it, I feel like. But this movie just leapfrogged everything that came out around that time.
Yeah, I mean, I think, there were so many elements to it that made it great. Vince Vaughn at that time was really just
Huge.
like
He was really
taking off,
cooking, yeah.
But you also had Ben Stiller, who had been around for a while, and he's playing an asshole, which is perfect because Ben Stiller's an asshole from what
Right.
we've talked about in the past.
Right.
And he's playing an asshole, which worked out perfectly.
And he's just 4 years removed from Meet the Parents, which was huge.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Meet the Fockers came out around the same time.
And his wife is in this, Marsha Brady. She's in it as well. And apparently this was like 18 months after they had their first kid.
Oh.
And so she was like taking naps on the set because like when you got an 18-month-old, it's tough. You don't know that.
Yeah, I don't.
But
I don't,
you may know
I don't
that.
know where my kids are, but
So Pirate Steve, right? The whole thing with Pirate Steve
yeah.
is that he had just ended Firefly, which got canceled for I don't know which time, because that show had been canceled a lot of times. There are people who are very, very defensive of that show.
Never seen it.
It's not bad. It's enjoyable, but it's it's a sci. You have to be into sci-fi and like certain. Anyways, they were space pirates, and so he's playing a space pirate in this movie, and so like there's little nods like that are comical and enjoyable. You have the announcers.
Announcers
Right,
are
like-
hilarious.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
The announcers are great because you have the one announcer who is straight
I'm in love with the shape of you.
and is just like I'm gonna tell you what I'm seeing, and then you have the other announcer that's just off the wall. It's
Yeah.
the John Madden effect, right?
Right.
Like, well, the guy who's gonna score the touchdown is gonna be the one who scores the points for the team. Well, yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
Like, this is a father bucket, this is a mother bucket, and since the last game, they had a baby bucket.
But they did such a great job with all of the little elements of the characters in addition to like the sport itself, right? There's always going to be one team that's going to compile this like super elite team, right? It was the Yankees for a while there, and then it's become, whichever team you want to talk about, like in sport, the LA Rams, right?
Yeah.
Like, which people understand and they get.
Right.
And that's why they think it's funny, right? And there are a lot of things that are other
New
elements of
England
fun, too.
Patriots. It's it's the heavy favorite.
Did you know that Justin Long in this movie, when they were dodging the wrenches, when he got the wrench thrown in by Rip Torn, the first one was harder than the other ones, and he actually hit him in the head. Like they were like supposed to be like soft wrenches, and the first one like was harder, and like it bruised him. Like it fucked up his
jeez.
head. It's you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. You can,
That's a line that lives on.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Again, talking to the Gen Z, I don't know if anyone would know that line, but my generation, your generation, like people our age will know that line.
Yeah.
That lived on forever for some reason.
Yeah. I do want to say that what makes me laugh about this is a fact that I just learned, that apparently this movie is Dame Helen Mirren's favorite movie.
Okay, that's random.
I don't know why this would be Helen Mirren's favorite movie, but apparently this is Helen Mirren's favorite movie.
All right.
That's hilarious to me.
I think that's a respectable choice, though. It's
that
weird.
That it's weird, or that it's her favorite movie.
I think it's respectable that it's her favorite movie.
Oh.
It's not like if anyone, I mean, that's a random person to say that, but if anyone told me that this was their favorite movie, I wouldn't be like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of dumb, but like, all right.
Yeah.
It's a good comedy.
Yeah.
It's very, you mentioned the cast a second ago with Vaughn and Stiller, and you mentioned Justin Long too. It's very 2004.
Yes.
It's like very, like, Vince Vaughn was really cooking then. Like, he had the breakup a couple years after this. The Wedding Crashers was 2005. Ben Stiller, I mentioned Meet the Parents. Justin Long,
Old
I think, was
school.
just starting to get, old school, just starting to get his career going. He was in Waiting, which was a couple years after this. Accepted.
Accepted, yeah.
Yeah. It's very 2004. I think people will know what I mean by that. It
Yeah.
makes sense in my head.
Yeah, for sure. But it's good, and it's still, I think it's still a funny movie. I think you can still laugh at it and enjoy it. And
I got to give it I haven't watched it in a couple of years. But it's one of those, it's so iconic for some reason that it's just like, it's stuck in my head.
yeah.
I saw it in theaters when it came out. It was a big thing at the time. Yeah, it's interesting how I think it is the relatability of Dodgeball, and then just all these little throwaway jokes that made it what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm surprised they didn't make a sequel.
Well, I'm glad that they didn't make a sequel.
Yeah, but I'm kind of
That's-
surprised.
Yeah, that this would be the type of movie that they would do a sequel to. But I think they wrapped it up pretty tightly.
Yeah, but they could make Average Joe's like this juggernaut professional dodgeball. Like
Yeah.
they'll find a way.
Well, don't find a way. What do you think?
I think I'm kind of, I don't know. I don't think it cracks the 7s. Probably not, but I think it's going to be high. It's going to be like mid to high 6s. I'm going to go with 6.9.
I'm gonna go 6.66. I think that people like it, but they also like don't like it.
You might be
that
right.
much.
I don't know.
So I would say 6.6.
6-7.
All right, we're in the ballpark,
Oh yeah, both in the ballpark. Yeah.
or whatever the Dodgeball Park is called. Dodge Court.
The gym.
That.